Have you ever wondered what an average human looks like wearing one of Steven Schaefer's jerseys? Well, wonder no more. Pretty unbelievable, right? But not as unbelievable as these Bauer Hyperlite pads. So saddle up, cowboy, and I'll tell you all about it. Alright guys, if you're not part of GGSU, you probably don't get that little intro I did, but just know that Steven Schaefer is a humongous man that wears a 6XL hockey jersey. And we all love him though. He runs GGSU and is a well-known raffle mogul. So yeah, but onto the meat and potatoes of this video. Let's talk about the Bauer Hyperlite set. So I'm just going to come out and say I really like this set. This is the set I've liked the most out of anything I've tried other than my Vons. This would be the closest thing that has, to tempt me to move away from the Vaughn. If I had to use something else, if Vaughn didn't exist tomorrow and I had to buy something else, I'd go with these pads. I think, and I mean the whole set really. I think it's a great set. Just super impressed with it. And, Bauer had already kind of impressed me with the 1S and the 2S just because my expectations weren't anything that high for those sets or those pads. And I was pleasantly surprised. But this really, the Hyperlite, I never used any vapor before, so I don't know if maybe I would have liked that as much too. But this Hyperlite set, I just think is fantastic. I think it has a lot of mass appeal. I feel like, almost no matter where you are on the spectrum, unless you're maybe spectrum of like how you like your pads as far as like stiff or soft, whatever, or what style pad you want. Unless you're like really at the far ends, I feel like you're gonna like this set. And even me, who I feel like I'm kind of at the far end of liking stuff super flexible, super soft, I still really like this set. And ultimately, if it came down to I have to win a game and what I would use, yeah, I'd still go with Vaughn just because of that comfort, a little bit more of a comfort factor. But I mean, I really like this set. I don't know what else to say. I think it's great. I was kind of blown away by this set, really. So yeah, I just wanted to say kind of like my overall opinion on it, and then we'll get into each piece individually and get more into it. But just yeah, man, I think this is great. Bauer always has that whole thing about quality, whatever. So if that is just so important to you that you're gonna eliminate this from contention of what you might buy, hey, it's your prerogative. I don't know what to tell you, but quality aside. And really, I mean, it's not like that I've seen anything bad quality-wise with this set. Not that I've had it for so long or anything, but I haven't personally seen anything with this that makes me like really concerned about quality that has already happened or anything. But yeah, just speaking of how they feel, how they perform, the innovation, technology, I think these are a phenomenal set. And I would say, speaking, generally, without people's specific tastes, I would say this might be like the best set on the market right now. Like I said, for me personally, the Vaughn still edges it out, but just in speaking in generalities, yeah, man, this is a really good set that will appeal to most people. All right, so let's start getting into individual pieces here. I guess we'll start with the blocker to get that out of the way. So if you saw my out of the box just overview video of this set, I mentioned how comfortable this felt, and yeah, that continued onto the ice. I have used the 2S blocker in the past and was really impressed with that. So this is pretty much everything I liked about the 2S, but even a little more comfortable. Just there's some extra padding in here. Feels like your hand is in a pillow, basically. And yeah, it's just got that, super rigid, hard surface the rebounds will fly off of. Sidewall is very sturdy. It's almost like a two-sided blocker. I mean, you could almost use this sidewall as its own blocker. And if you're someone like me who kind of has a bad habit of turning their hand a little bit when shots are kind of catch you in close like that, this really helps with that. That's something I like in a blocker is when it has a real sturdy sidewall. I had no problems as far as like mobility in it, flexing my wrist, holding the stick. Even just first time on the ice, this felt completely fine. Absolutely no problems with it. So I don't even have any negative to say about it really. I like compared to the ultrasonic or Supreme line, this is a little more thinned out, which I like. So nice and thin, but yet still super sturdy. Kicks out the rebounds. Very comfortable. I mean, I've said it before, I'll say it again. I think Bauer makes the best blockers, and I don't think it's even close on the market. So that's the blocker. We will move on to the glove. So I've used a 2X glove in the past. I have video on it actually. Liked it. And even just out of the box, I said in that video, I felt like this was an improvement on the 2X. Mostly because of the kind of deeper palm here. So pucks aren't going to just bounce out like I kind of felt like they were doing in my 2X. Also, this glove break is what would be equivalent to like a 590 glove break in CCM or 60 degree if you want to say that. And that's what I like. So that's why I would pick this glove over like their ultrasonic glove, which is more like I believe like a 600 if you're going with CCM break. So, and again, if you saw my out of the box video, this thing was super fappy, closed easy, however you want to call it, out of the box. And, even broke in a little bit more since then. I didn't do a whole lot to try to break it in. I just kind of put like a piece of a stick here to hold it open because I felt like if anything, it needed help opening up a bit more so than closing. Because like I said, out of the box, closed completely good. So, yeah, not even much, didn't even break it in from out of the box, and even out of the box it was great. So closure was good. The break angle feels good. For me, if you like different break angles, maybe you'd be better off with the ultrasonic glove. But if you like a 590, 60 degree glove, I got no complaints about it. It's really on par with like my Vaughn glove that I use. I would say even out of the box, this closed easier than my Vaughn. My Vaughn took a little bit more breaking in. And I will say, like, there's some gloves where if you don't use them, like even once they're broken in, like if you don't get on the ice for like a week or something and you store it in a cool, dry place, they kind of get like dried out, and then it takes like, a good warm up, or might even be into the first period before it like gets back to its like groove and closes easy, whatever. Like I kind of experienced that with my Vaughn glove. If I don't use it for a while, it feels like real stiff when I put it on. But it doesn't take long to get it back to where it was. But that's just something I wanted to call out with this, where like even if I don't use this for a week or whatever, it still closes just as easy. Like there's no kind of like drying out, stiffening out if this doesn't get used for a while. I don't know if that's really an issue with most of you guys, but it's just something I noticed I wanted to call out with this glove, that it keeps that same, easy closure even if you don't use it for a while and whatever, and out of the box. So this was great. This is one of the best gloves, if not the best glove out of the box that I've ever had. What else? I would say my Vaughn just feels a little more comfortable on me. I don't really know like how to narrow it down for the specific reason. I mean, they both feel great, but I don't know if it's something with the backhand, like the way it is. Or there's just something about the Vaughn glove that feels slightly more comfortable to me and natural. And it's not the break angle. It's just something, I don't know, something in the way the glove, the strapping is, or it's on your hand. That's not to say this is bad. It's just I'm saying, you know, it's just something that else I wanted to say in comparison. Because as you guys know, like I pretty much compare everything to my Vaughn set because that's the pinnacle for me. But yeah, it's still a really great glove. Catch is great. Close is great. Yeah, you know, weight, balance, everything is fine. I have, again, really trying to think. The blocker, absolutely no complaints. The glove, no complaints. You know, like I said, yeah, the Vaughn edges it out slightly with how it feels on my hand, but that's not really a complaint. It's just that the Vaughn edges it out with that. You know, I like the double T. I would recommend going with double T. But, you know, hey, if you really just into single T, I don't think it's like you're going to hate it or anything. But it's just, if you want my recommendation, I say go with double T. You know, I don't normally go with skate lace. I went with skate lace with this. Honestly, I don't really notice a difference between skate lace and just the cord that's normally on glove pockets. I don't know. I guess maybe the skate, visually, like the skate lace looks a little better, maybe. I'll admit that. But I normally just go with regular cord on my gloves. And I don't notice a difference. You know, I wanted to try the skate lace on this. Some people say it helps deaden the puck. I didn't really notice any difference from other gloves I've had as far as the pocket deadening a puck that didn't have the skate lace. So, you know, I think more is just what you want it to look like if you're going to order it with skate lace. But, you know, again, maybe you really just are like the skate lace and whatever. So, yeah, that's basically the glove. Again, so we're batting 1,000, 2 for 2 with the glove, the blocker. Great. I can 100% use the glove and blocker as my main glove and blocker, and especially like with the blocker, I'm really leaning towards when I get my next Vaughn set of just leaving out the blocker from Vaughn and going with a Bauer blocker. And especially since, you know, you can do custom graphics with Bauer, I could pretty much get something to match. You know, they can print anything on the glove, on the blocker. So I can, you know, get it to match whatever graphic or whatever I'm going with the rest of the Vaughn stuff. So yeah, the blocker definitely I could use. Glove, like I said, yeah, the Vaughn edges it out, but if I had to use that glove, I would have no issues with it, whatever. I could definitely use that as my main glove. So now, the thing that most people are probably interested in more than anything else. Let's talk about these leg pads. So the first time I got on the ice with these, I mean, they felt okay. But I don't know, there was just something like a little off. And if you watched my out of the box video and I went over the strapping, which by the way, if you want to know more about like the specs of the pads and the strapping, that kind of stuff, watch the out of the box video. This is more just my experience with it and what I think about the pads. So if you watch that video, I talked about how the strapping setup I was going to go with. I was going to use their Professor strap because in most other pads I use a Professor strap and I like it. The thing is with their Professor strap, they don't use an elastic band with it. It's just like a nylon band, how it's attached. So there's no give to it. And that's really what caused the pad to feel not quite right on my leg the first time I skated with it. So the second skate, I switched that out for the, let me just show you this. I switched it out for the Tune Fit strapping. So originally I had taken out this Tune Fit strap and I used the Professor strap. So second skate, I took the Professor strap out and I put the Tune strap in and used that, and it felt way better. So, you know, if you're a Professor strap person, I mean, if you're already using one that's not like elastic, doesn't have give to it, and you're used to it and like it, then maybe it won't be an issue to you. But I feel like most Professor straps I've come across use or incorporate elastic somewhere in the design. And so if that's what you're used to, this might throw you off a little bit. It feels like it's a little too restricting because of how it doesn't give it all. So For me, I think it works out better without the professor strap, and like I said, I'm even a guy that uses that mostly on most of my other pads. But for me, the optimal setup for this, and I really, played around with the strapping to dial it in, is using the tune fit strap and strapping the knee down to the calf. So once I got that was like the main change I had to do to make them start feeling real good. And then even after that, like almost with every skate, I got a little more used to it. They felt a little better. And I actually just came from a skate earlier today before doing this review, and I wanted to use this set, get one more use in before doing the review. And that was like probably the best they felt. I played pretty good, everything was flowing, jiving, synergy, all that stuff. It just felt like there was a chemistry there with the gear, and it felt just really good. So yeah, out of anything I said, out of anything I've tried, these pads, man, woof, Bauer is really, really kind of making me. It's like that meme where the guy's got the distracted boyfriend, and I'm holding Vaughn's hand, and the Bauer pad's behind, and I'm looking back like, I like what I see. But yeah, so even though they're definitely a stiffer body of the pad than my Vaughn's and stiffer than I would normally like in a pad, I think the thing that helps it a lot of feeling still comfortable for me is this boot. So as you can see, the boot is pretty flat, and that's what you get with the Hyperlite boot over the Ultrasonic, for instance. Although when you go custom, you can mix and match. So you could get the flatter, more flexible boot on the Ultrasonic, or vice versa. If you prefer a stiffer boot, you could get that on the Hyperlite. But the fact that it's flat and pretty flexible, much more flexible than the Supreme line, I think that really helped with how it felt for me, and it just made it feel more comfortable than when I've used like the 2S and the 1S in the past. So while I wish the body of it, at least for my taste personally, was had a little more flex to it. The boot is great. I really love the boot. Now, and I showed this in my out of the box video. The thigh does have a lot of flex if you put the elbow grease into it and really push it down. But when it's on your leg and you're just playing on the ice, there's really no force doing it, so it stays pretty stiff. So that's what I'm saying, like, when I mentioned how I feel like this would appeal to a wide variety of people. Even if you're a person that likes stiff pads, I mean, it's going to play like a stiff pad, even though it's got more potential flex than like an Ultrasonic, for instance. So, but yet it's still comfortable enough for a guy like me who likes really flexible pads, even though the body of it doesn't really flex that much in the course of play and on your leg, because like I said, it needs some kind of force pushing on it to really get that flex. But the difference, with the Ultrasonic, even if you put that force, it does not flex this much. You'll get a little bit of flex, obviously, as with any pad, when you put enough force on the top of it. But yeah, so it has like more potential flex in the Ultrasonic, but realistically, it still plays mostly like a stiff pad in the body of the pad. So some of the features that I was really looking forward to with this pad is, for instance, the Stabila Flex knee block. In the Ultrasonic, it's Stabila Slide. In the Hyperlite, it's Stabila Flex. Basically, it's a one-piece knee configuration with the body, so it's a lot more stiffer than just about any other pad has ever come out with. On the Ultrasonic, the Stabila Slide is the stiffest. Stabila Flex has a little more play to it, but it's still very stiff. And the theory behind that is helping with weight transfer when you're pushing down to the ice. I was real excited to try this. I've heard other people say it's a game changer. They really feel a difference. I mean, I'm just going to be honest with you guys in my reviews, like I always am. I didn't notice this doing anything specific to, that it's this hard or stiff knee block. There was nothing that happened while I was using this pad on the ice or whatever where I'm attributing it specifically to this knee block where I'm like, yeah, I see a huge difference. I mean, it sealed the ice great. It got down the ice great, but I kind of feel like my Vons do a good job of that too. I feel like other pads I've used, have had good seal. So to me, I honestly didn't notice any big life-changing things with this knee block, and that's like, this was probably had like the one feature of the most hype that I've heard from both the ultrasonic and the Hyperlite was this, knee block. And I don't know what to say, man. Maybe I'm weird. Maybe I don't know. I don't know what to tell you, but if I'm being honest, I did not notice this specifically doing anything crazy with the pad. But like I said, pad sealed great. And pad slides phenomenal. So the only thing I say is maybe like this contributes to how good the pad slides, because things that contribute to good sliding is one of the things is material. Like a lot of manufacturers have specific sliding material, but also usually the stiffer the pad, it'll slide better, and the thinner the pad is, it'll slide better because there's less stuff rubbing on the ice. So I'm thinking like the fact that this is like a stiff, hard surface this is what's coming in contact with the ice. So that might be contributing to how ridiculous this pad slides. So if that's the case, then I guess it does do something, but I have no way to prove that this specifically is helping it. I mean, the pad as a whole slides great. Maybe this is part of the reason, but the main reason behind this knee block is supposed to be like the energy transfer and getting the pad to the ice faster. Maybe if you had some scientific way, a slow-mo camera, some way to measure how fast, I don't. I'm sure there is. I don't. If I had some way to measure that scientifically, maybe I could prove that this does shave like 0.01 seconds off of my time of getting my pad to the ice, but just how I feel with it, I don't notice it doing anything more than other knee blocks, if I'm being honest. But yeah, in general, the pad slides phenomenal. If anything, it slides almost too good. Like, I really, and I've said this with other pads, like I had to kind of get used to my V9s because they slid better than past Vaughn pads I used. But the more you use it, the more you get used to it. But like with these, I'm still, I got a little used to it, but like still, even now, if I'm going a full slide from one side of the crease to the other, like, yeah, I'll get there fast, but I'm a little out of control. Like I'll overslide or I'll start turning or something. So this is definitely the best sliding pad I've ever used in my life. I haven't used the ultrasonic. Maybe something about that makes that slide even better than this. Why you would even need something to slide better than this, I don't know. To me, this is almost even overkill. But if you're someone that struggles with sliding, man, I don't know how anyone could struggle sliding with this. If you struggle sliding with this, you really just need to work on your technique or something. Or don't skip leg day. I don't know what to tell you, but these things are crazy, crazy slide. And it's not just me. Another goalie I know down here, he uses the 3X, which is like the senior level of this pad. And he was telling me too, and he's played pro. So, it's not just my beer league ass telling you this. But even he was saying like, yeah, it's crazy when he first started using his pads, like how he was out of control sliding or whatever too. So the sliding is crazy on this. You got to get used to it. The more you use it, you will get used to it more. But yeah. Another feature on this that probably second to the knee block that had the second most height is this calf pillow. Most pads now are incorporating this in their design. I've never seen one as big as this. This is the biggest calf pillow I've seen to date, and you definitely feel it on the ice. This, like with most other ones, it's not that noticeable. I wouldn't say it's that huge a deal. This one, I could definitely feel it, and it does definitely stabilize the pad more on the ice. So I do think, while I don't think this new knee block design, to me, does anything, The calf pillow, I definitely do notice, and I do think it is effective. Now, do you absolutely need it? No. But if that is something where you've tried in other pads that have calf pillows, I think this is even an improvement probably on what you've experienced in the past. If that's something you like or feel like you need or whatever. Let me try to think of anything else I want to talk about with this performance of this pad. The rebounds. So like I said, this still plays like a pretty stiff pad or whatever. So the rebounds fly off of this. I don't have a way to test this, and I also don't have a set of ultrasonic pads. So between this and the ultrasonic, I would guess since the ultrasonic is a little bit still of a stiffer pad, the rebounds might fly off more, but I don't really know how you can complain about the rebounds coming off this if you somebody who really likes them to fly off. I've said in the past that it's not really an issue for me. There's benefits, there's pros and cons of however the pad is leaving the rebound, whether it's a little shorter, whether it kicks it out. It's not a big deal for me, but if you're someone that likes the rebounds to kick out far, you're not going to be disappointed with this pad. And then just like visually, I mean, this is the stock graphic. I've been getting nothing but compliments on this thing, and to me, if you've seen some other pads I've ordered custom, this is pretty tame. I usually go a little more out there with the color. But yeah, I think it's a pretty good looking pad. I mean, it's not blowing you away with the stock graphic, as really no pad does these days. But I think you can make it look pretty well. So visually, I mean, I think it's a pretty decent looking pad. Especially, I mean, that's not saying much because I feel like stock graphics these days in general kind of suck. But compared to most other pads, I think it's a pretty decent looking pad. What you can do with it, whatever. And then of course, if you're going custom, you can print anything you want on there. You can print your face on there. Whatever. Go crazy. Another thing I'll say that has to do kind of with like visually or how the pad looks. I kind of noticed that the pad gets puck marks a little easier. I don't know how good this is coming on camera because like when I have it back further, it seems like the white gets kind of blown out on the camera. But maybe if I put it a little closer, there you go. Now you're starting to see the puck marks. And obviously, unless you're like just buying these to collect it and putting it on your wall, I don't know why you would care so much about getting puck marks. I mean, if you play, you're gonna get puck marks. But I don't know. It's just something I did notice that it seems to get puck marks on it easier than a lot of other pads, and I'm wondering if that has to do with the skin they use on it, because obviously this is something that's meant to be printed on. So I'm wondering if it's like maybe because of that it like absorbs color more than like Gen Pro, and that's why like the pucks leave marks easier on this. I don't know, but you can clean it off, or like I said, really, why do you care? You're playing, it's gonna get puck marks, not a big deal. But hey, it's something I did notice. Trying to think. Yeah, man. I don't really know what else to say. Oh, well, I just also want to be clear. I did not use the stock toe tie system that comes with Bauer. I put my aftermarket COVID toe ties on, so I can't really like review their stock ones or anything that they offer as far as toe ties. So you're on your own with that, but I always recommend Kova. I think they're great for toe ties and great for a lot of other things too. But yeah, so I can't really say anything about their stock toe tie setup or whatever. But yeah, okay. So, I'm praising, obviously, I don't want to just say there's like no downside or whatever, but obviously with Bauer, it's all, the big question is always quality, right? And like I said, there hasn't anything popped up that, makes me worry or have to call out for the quality yet, but obviously I haven't had these for that long. I've had them for, I don't know, a couple months or whatever I've had them for, so you wouldn't expect anything to pop up, but still I guess it wouldn't be that surprising if something did happen, being that it's Bauer. But the only thing I will say that I think is a little bit of a poor design and has the potential to maybe go bad is I'm not crazy about the way some of these straps attach to the pad. So you can see with the knee block, the elastic strap, it attaches to this like Gen Pro, I guess, loop at the end of the knee block, but literally that's all it is. It's just like, it's a piece of Gen Pro. So you got this strap that, I mean, depending how tight you or loose you strap it, you know, will have a varying degree of stress put on it. But I mean, if you use a knee strap, it's going to have some stress put on it. It's going to have some force exerted upon it, pulling it. And I don't know how good just a flap of Gen Pro holding it is going to hold up, you know, especially this gets wet. The process of it getting wet, getting used, and then drying out if you don't use it for a while, that can make Gen Pro less durable. But just in general, yeah, that makes me nervous. You know, like I said, nothing has happened yet, but I just not crazy about the fact that it's just a little piece of Gen Pro that this strap attaches to, and how much, you know, decent amount of stress or force gets exerted upon it in my experience with this. And with the Tune Fit strap, it's hard to show you because it's really deep in here. But the Tune Fit strap, the way it's attached by little flaps of Gen Pro as well. So I'm a little uneasy about that design. I would have preferred they had a different way to attach that to the pad. But I mean, that's me coming up with problems that don't exist, right? Like, it hasn't happened yet. I haven't heard anyone say it happened to their pad yet. But you know, these are pretty new, so no one's had these pads for that long. But it's just something that I was like, ew, when I saw that, I was like, I don't know, why would you make that as a design point on these pads? And especially with Bauer's history, that's a little worrying. But that's about, you know, as far as like the actual design of the pad, that's about the only negative I can say. You know, like I said, I wish it, you know, for my taste, I wish the pad was a little more flexible in the body, but especially at the top, like without having to put that force that's never going to happen in a game on it. But that's just a personal taste thing. I'm not holding that against the pad or, you know, how it's designed. But yeah, just that little way of how some of these straps are attached is iffy. Also, I wish they would allow the calf pillow to be completely removed. It's being held mostly by Velcro, but it is sewn in at the leg channel, so you can't remove it. I don't really know why you'd want to. I feel like there's not really a downside to it, but maybe some people would try it and feel like it's uncomfortable. But the fact that then it's sewn in, you can't remove it, kind of sucks. And it seems like I don't know why. I don't know what it being sewn in, why that really helps. Because most other pads is just Velcroed in. But yeah, so if I have another kind of small design thing I would say is I would change or call out is that I wish this was removable instead of you have to put it in. And then, like, if you're going to sew it in, why then use elastic on it also? Because I can't take it out, so there's no point in me undoing the elastic part that holds that part in. I don't know. But, because, like, if you saw my True review, I think theirs is completely sewn in. So it's like, if you're going to sew it in, might as well go all the way and sew it in, right? But I would prefer if it was able to take it out just to give people more options. I'm always about more options. So yeah, that's about the only two things, though, I'll say. And one of the issues is just me thinking that might be an issue. It's not really an issue yet. And the other thing is, you know, minor, whatever. Another thing that's more personal to me, so again, I'm not going to hold it against the pad. It's just something, it's more of a me issue. If you've seen other videos of mine, I did a specific video on adding a knee stack to the knee. You know, I like to do that. It relieves pressure on my hips. It helps my butterfly flares a little bit because I have complete garbage hips of like an 80-year-old. So with this new design knee block, it's all a one-piece thing. Most knee blocks have like 2 or 3 different things going on here, and it's being held together by Velcro. And so it's very easy to add a knee stack in it because you just open it up, add the knee stack in it, Velcro everything back up, and it's good to go. This, there's really no way to add a knee stack to it. So I do feel like, I feel a little more like when I use these pads, while, I mean, they feel good in general, as far as how they perform and how comfortable they are on my leg. I do feel like it does put a little more wear and tear on my hip because I'm not able to put the extra knee stack in and get myself to sit a little higher on the knee stack, or on the knee stack, on the knee block. That's what I'm trying to say. So I wish there was a way I could get this knee block, but then be able to still add the knee stack. If you're going custom, you don't have to get this Stabila Flex, Stabila Slide knee block. You can get the older style knee block that was on their past pads that does still have a separate area that's attached to Velcro that you can undo and stick an extra knee stack in. That's what I did with my 2S and 1S pads I had. I was able to put the extra knee stack in there. So if that's something that's really important to you, I guess you could get that knee block, the older style knee block, and still do that. But then you don't get whatever benefit might be with this new knee block, which, like I said, for me, I don't know. I didn't notice it. I hate that I didn't notice anything because I feel weird. I feel like, what the fuck am I doing wrong that I don't notice this new knee block doing much? But like I said, I'm just going to be honest and tell you how I felt with the pad on the ice, and I didn't notice it being any big deal. So I don't want to harp on that too much. But I just wish, personally for me, I could get an extra knee stack in here. That's probably not going to be an issue with too many other of you guys because I doubt most of you have as bad hips as I do. But it's just, whatever, something I wanted to say about the pad. Again, these are very minor complaints. Overall, I want to reiterate how good these pads did feel on the ice. How comfortable, especially for it being a stiffer pad. I mean, I know to Bauer, it's their more flexible pad, their hybrid pad, whatever term you want to assign to it. But to me, this is still a pretty stiff pad. And the fact that they could make it that it still felt as good as it does to me on my leg, and I can play with it as good as I can, I'm just super impressed. And like I said, I feel if you have to assign like a pad to say like it would appeal to the most number or types of goalies, I have to go with this. Because if it can appeal to me while still being kind of stiff, you got like the best of both worlds, I guess, in one pad. I'm not saying it's the absolute best pad for everybody. I'm just saying, like, and I kind of said this with the True pad, but I think this even beats True at that. Whereas they made a pad that almost anybody can use and be happy with. Like, yeah, it might like for me, it's not the optimal pad because for me, I still got to go with the Vaughn, but I wouldn't have any problem using this. I still feel pretty good using it. I still play good using it. So, yeah, I think that's why I'm saying I think this is like currently the best pad out there. I know I'm probably going to get flack from some of you guys because I know that there's Bauer haters that just hate it because of the durability issues they've had in the past, and still there are still some. Hate it because it's made overseas instead of North America. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, if you want to hate it for those reasons, then hate it and don't use it. But I think it's a mistake to sleep on this. And I'm just super impressed. And I don't think I would say I was ever a Bauer hater, but like in their 1S days and before I actually tried the 1S finally, I kind of was too because, yeah, I saw like the durability issues, the fact that it was a pro pad that wasn't made in North America. I would make jokes and whatever about it. But once you use it, if you actually use it, I think you have to give them credit at least for certain things. You still want to say you don't like that they're made overseas, or you think it's not durable enough for you. Hey, that's fine. But you can't take away some of the stuff they've been able to do with these pads. Like I said, the technology, the performance. You have to give them credit for that. And I think this is a great pad and great set in general. So yeah, I guess that's pretty much all I can say about these pads. Like I said, I've been the most impressed with this. Although but Vaughn, I expect it is what I expect it to be. The only way Vaughn is gonna wow me is if for some reason they felt terrible. Then I'd be wowed of how terrible they felt. But just like, was not expecting to like this set as much as I do, especially the leg pads. I mean, the glove and blocker I pretty much knew I guess I was going to like, but the leg pads, really good. I mean, it takes the stuff I liked about, like the Supreme line, 1S, 2S, which I was pleasantly surprised with, and just even made something, it took the best parts of that and made something that's even comfortable enough for an old guy like me who uses super soft pads to like. So yeah, I could not recommend this more. Like I said, I don't think I guess there's always going to be somebody that would hate it maybe, but I would think it's a very low % chance that you would hate these pads. Like if you're kind of on the fence and you don't know, or you're not sure what to get, I think this is a pretty safe set, or pretty safe leg pads to get, that you would like it. Yeah, and in general, I would have to say these are the best pads, the best set out there. And me saying, if you would have told me a few years ago, I'd be saying that about a Bauer set. Or just like, when I'm out on the ice at this point, I look at myself when I'm using these pads. I got full Bauer leg pad, glove and blocker set. I use Bauer skates. But that I've been using for years. That's never been an issue for me. When I use this set, I have a Bauer 961 mask that goes with it that I use. I'm using a Hyperlite chest protector, which is my main chest protector. I'm like the only thing I don't use from Bauer is the pants. I use Vaughn pants. But like, you'd have told me a few years ago, I would be out on the ice, feeling good in basically head to toe Bauer, and now telling you that I think Bauer probably makes about the best set out there, I would not have believed it. So good job, Bauer, for kind of making me a believer, changing my mind of what I thought about you at one point. But yeah, so super impressed with this. Definitely recommend. Thank you guys for watching this video as always. And if you have any comments, questions, leave a comment. I'll be happy to answer whatever. But other than that, I don't know what else I can say about this. I'm just really impressed, and I think it's a great set. So other than that, I'll see you guys in the next video.